Hey everyone, and welcome back to Elden Ring. And so today in this episode, we are going to head down to the beach. So start here in the Church of Ella, work our way down around to the beach, and work our way south, and then take care of a cave. So let's go ahead and get started as soon as we look at our equipment. So we've got the Uji Katana at +3, we've got the staff at +2, and I think the last time I checked we still needed one, one more smithing stone. So let's go ahead and pass the time so that it is morning, so that we can see things a little bit better. Eventually we will be dealing with the nighttime and some of the nighttime bosses that come with that. So let's go ahead and put a couple of markers or beacons here. So we're going to start by going down this way, and then we'll head down the cliff. Well, not the cliff, but the hillside over by the cliff. Okay. So over here, I don't think there's really any like major items that we need to pick up. So still just come on over here and check out what kind of crafting items there might be. And that's the area that we're going to head down to. So those ruins there, I think there might be a way to fall down onto those safely from a little bit lower, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to head down the hill. There is a troll that we're going to fight, but it's not going to be too big of a problem. We have fought those before. Sorry for the pause. I had to check something on my phone. We are going to go down the hill rather than down the side onto the ruins, because there's a troll over here and it shouldn't be too difficult because we have dealt with them before. And I've also been thinking, I don't want to just keep using the same weapon and the same skills over and over throughout the game. So at some point, probably in this episode or the next, I am planning to switch the weapon that I'm using. So there is another one that I'm going to be picking up fairly soon that will be really effective with the stats that we have. So, and I was thinking about even using the Blood Ash of War that we had picked up. So that fight went okay. Not great, but okay. And let's keep on going down. No items on top there, but you can jump down that way if you'd like, or if you wanted to try and get some more feathers, or the what are they called? The feet, the 4-taloned feet. So, whoops. So this is actually a good Ash of War to use here. So you can see there's like something making this path around. It's actually an invisible scarab, and we want to try and stand on its path and hit it when it comes to us. So this Ash of War, where we have the kind of the horizontal swipe, is really good for that one. Otherwise it's kind of hard to figure it out. The first time I figured it out and did it, it took me probably 15 or 20 times going around to actually get it. So be ready for that. And we just picked up the Ash of War Stamp Sweep, usable on swords, axes, and hammers. This grants the heavy affinity, and brace your armament and step into a low stance that prevents recoil from most enemy attacks. Follow up with a strong attack for a sweep strike. And let's head down this way to the, or I guess up this way to the northwest. We've got a lone Caden Knight sitting at a campfire. Almost makes you feel sad to take him down. It's just enjoying the view here. We're going to go ahead and backstab him. go. So that took me a backstab, a charged heavy, and 1 slash. And we get the strip of white flesh, which I'm pretty sure that we've read that one. We have quite a few of those. So that's it for over here. Now we'll work our way south down the beach. And as I'm sure that you can see already, there are quite a few octopi that you can fight if you want or not. And I want, so. Good stuff. And then we've got the little guys. We've got the big one over here. And octopus ovary. It's probably best to stay over this way, away from the edge, just so that it doesn't knock you over or you don't end up backpedaling to the point that you're falling in the water. I'm surprised that that first one didn't stagger it. Alright, that's good. Another ovary. And that. Better. So we got a few little glowies over here. We'll heal our FP. We got growing fragments. Again, not necessary to pick them up, but it's not gonna hurt. Switch to the glintstone arc. We've got a few demi-humans over here. And might as well take them out in one shot, even though I wasted the second one. It seems like a waste, I guess it's really not. So that's the cave that we're going to go into, but let's go ahead and get to the end of this beach first before we search around.
What do you need? I don't want any trouble.
He doesn't have much to say, but he does have some good things to sell. He's got neutralizing boluses that alleviate poison buildup and cures poison. Staunching or stanching boluses that alleviate impending blood loss and alleviate the buildup of sleep with the stimulating bolus. So we do want to pick up the 3 smithing stones that he has. We definitely want the Armorer's Cookbook. That one's going to teach us the Firebone arrows and bolt and also the neutralizing boluses. So that's going to be extremely helpful. He has a broadsword, which is a straight sword with a wide blade, suited to slashing attacks. Horizontal swings boast wide attack range, making it easier to connect with foes, and it has square off, which I don't think we've seen that one. It starts off with a sword held level, follow up with a normal attack to slash upward through enemy's guard, or a strong attack to perform a running thrust. There's a large club, which is a thick solid lump of wood. Wielding this weapon requires no skill. A simple, primitive weapon that requires only brute strength and persistence to hammer your foe into the ground. That one has Barbaric Roar, which we have seen. But a shortbow. Shortbow made to fire arrows over great distances. Other than its ability to fire off arrows in rapid succession, it is also well suited for use on horseback. To use a bow, arrows must also be equipped, and I will show that probably later. Skill Barrage. Archery skill using a bow held horizontally. Ready the bow, then fire off a rapid succession of shots faster than the eye can see. Okay, and he also sells arrows and bolts and an iron round shield. An ordinary small round shield made of metal. Heavier than a wooden shield, but boasts higher damage negation. Finely balanced, this shield is easy to use, and it has no skill equipped to it. He also has notes on land squirts and stone digger trolls. So we're going to go ahead and buy those. And we will read those now.
All done? Well, Be on your way then.
All right. He may not be friendly, but Kale told us to not be mean to them, so we'll leave him alone. All right, so we've got the Armorer's Cookbook, which we already read. And we have Land Squirts. So this was sold by a nomadic merchant, imparting knowledge in brief. Land squirts are soft where they touch the ground, and poison will cause them to rupture. So we've already seen land squirts. Those are the little egg-looking things that puff out poison. So we know that from knocking them over that their bottom part is soft, and that's where the critical hits can happen. But what we didn't know is that poison causes them to rupture. So there's a really great place for me to show that off. It's actually quite amusing, so I'll show you that when we get there. And this is the note on Stone Digger Trolls. The heads of the Stone Digger Trolls bear old wounds. So if you aim at the head using like a bow and arrow for manual aiming, then you have a chance of staggering it or stunning it a little bit more quickly. So something to keep in mind. I don't think that it's super useful information because they're not overly difficult in my opinion. So we've got these little slug looking things on the ground. They will attack you. They shoot out these little spikes or bony protrusions. Very susceptible to bleed. And if I remember correctly, they are also very susceptible to fire. But if you keep watching the health bar, once the bleed builds up right there, do that massive amount of damage. And we've got a few skeletons over here, or those who live in death, but more fun to just call them skeletons. Maybe not fun, just more natural. Rolls off the tongue a little better. Oh, come on, ultimately die, dude. There you go. And then we get a gold pickled fowlfoot. So that's one of the items that you can use with the four-toed fowlfoot for crafting. Keep going into the wrong menu. So this one is boosts rune acquisition for a time. Four-toed foot of a fowl pickled in a golden medicinal solution boosts the amount of runes obtained from defeating enemies for a certain duration. Since old times, the needy would scrape the meat clean, even from a fowl's claw. Alright, so that is an extremely useful item. So if you find an area that you really like to farm and you want to try and get a lot of extra runes to try and level up or to get enough to buy some equipment or items, that's a great way to do it. So we've got another spirit spring here. Takes us up to a second spirit spring, and this brings us back up to the very beginning with an incredibly stunning view. And just for the sake of the view, I am going to do it again. Let's just line that up, see if we can get there. Alright, well, we fell all the way down, but I'm going to do it again just because that jump and view at the top is incredible. So check that out. Wow. This game is so beautiful. I absolutely love it. Alright, so we can fall back down to that one, or we can fall to the very bottom one. When you're falling, as long as you see that cloud around Torrent's feet, you're going to be just fine. So let's head back up to the, what is this, northwest, to where the cave was, and we will go in there and handle what is waiting for us. And then there's an island over there. Pretty cool. Those clouds look so nice. I mean, they look ugly, but like the graphics of them look really nice. It's pretty impressive. All right, and here we are. At the coastal cave.
It hurts.
We know this guy. Let's talk to him.
Oh. What are you doing here? You must leave this place at once. They'll rush in and beat you to a pulp. You'll end up just like me. Oh.
All right, so he just has that one thing to say. So let's go ahead and save. Well, not save. Rest. And see where we're at level up wise. Probably not close. No, because we just bought all that stuff. And let's go into the room. Not, oh my gosh, I'm having a hard time talking. Let's go down into the cave and see what is there. It seems like there was a brief cut in it. It's because I had to pause and check something on my phone. Well, so we have a cave of demi-humans. So we can drop down here, or we can go around this way. We're gonna fight these guys. Oh, that was good. Some cave moss and some more rainbow stones. I'm going to show those off real quick. I know I showed them outside, but when you're in a cave like this, like if you're not sure where you're going or where you've been, this is a really cool way to mark your progress, which is kind of neat. So back to equipment, and I'm gonna take those off just because I don't want to have to scroll through them every time. And we should have a few more demi-humans. Take down. Get over here, dude. There we go. And this big guy takes a couple more hits. And he can hit pretty hard because he has the spiked club. Alright, and we have cleared the cave, with the exception of the boss. So, let's make sure we are full on everything, and you can see here is a summon sign. So we can touch the gold summon sign, and we have the ability to now summon the old knight Istvan. So, yeah, sure, why not? We have the opportunity to summon anybody other than our spirit ashes to help us, might as well. We don't necessarily need his help, but why not? Okay, so let's come in here. We can summon our militiamen, and we have a boss fight in a boss room with some demi-humans and 2 demi-human chiefs. So we have our first dual boss fight. This fight's not too difficult, especially when you have your summons with you. If you don't, it can get a little bit overwhelming just because there are the other demi-humans in here. And if you go too far into the cave, then you can actually pull both of the demi-human chiefs at the same time. And that can definitely be overwhelming, so. But when you have Istvan helping you and whatever spirit ash that you're using, it's not too bad, as you can see. Right, and we got the tailoring tools, and we got the sewing needle. So let's go ahead and get rid of the summons, because they're still fighting something over there, but I want to show you. It's kind of interesting. So the demi-humans, once you defeat whatever their leader is, so like one of those demi-human chiefs, they basically just cower. They're not going to attack you. They're not going to do anything. So, depends on how you want to play it. If you want to try to take out the two chiefs first, and then make all the other ones just completely docile, that's fine. I don't know why I was trying to ride Torrent. Or if you want to try and take down all of the smaller guys first. I just wanted to see if he would drop anything. Before you take on the bosses, you can do that too. So this would take us back to the beginning of the dungeon. However, as you can see, there's more of a cave here. So I would highly recommend do not use that. We want to follow this cave all the way to its end before we do anything else. So, and we can fast travel back to the site of grace, which is where we found Bach. Ooh, we got a club. And I think we already read that item description because that was the one. I don't know why I'm trying to put my magic. The club was the one that we were looking at the merchant. He had that one for sale. So let's go ahead and read these descriptions. We just got a sewing needle, which is Bach the demi-human's prized sewing needle. A large sewing needle curved like a fang, and that's Bach the demi-human's prized possession. And we also got tailoring tools. A portable set of tailoring tools enables armor alterations at a site of grace. Okay, so we can alter our armor. Other than looks, there's really not too much purpose to that. But when we get the opportunity, I will show you what that looks like and what that is about. All right, so here we are, another stunning view of Stormvale Castle and the Erd Tree. And now we are on that island that we saw from right over there where the merchant is. So let's explore around here a little bit. Got some little crabs, not really much to do. And we've got a site of grace up here in front of these ruins. So let's go ahead and rest here. Still can't level up. I'm going to check that every time that we rest just to see where we're at. I really want to come in here, but I also don't. I already did. So it's the Church of Dragon Communion. So cool. You can see there's a dead dragon. Bunch of statues of dragons. I don't think there's anything else in here. Like items. It's really cool. But there is this altar. Yeah, I guess I'll show it to you. So when we do this, we can perform the ritual of Dragon Communion. When you do that, this basically becomes a store almost, where you can trade certain items for other types of magical attacks. I know that I'm not playing like a blind story playthrough, but I don't really want to give away too much quite yet. It's such a really cool aspect of the game, and I don't really want to spoil anything if you've never seen the game or know anything about it. So we have this little sign on the ground. Far to the east, you'll find the Cathedral of Dragon Communion, a place where draconic power gathers. Whoa. Pushed the wrong button there. Alright, so we have a Dragon Communion here, and then apparently there's another one off to the east. Let's come over here and get some exalted flesh. See some shipwrecks out there. And I think we can probably fall safely there, but we'll just kind of work our way down the side there. That ruin. An item over here. Another great dragonfly head. And there's going to be another scarab over here. Oh, come on. Pick that up for another 200 runes. And there's the scarab. So you can kind of tell that the scarab is on the other side of this ball because of how the lock-on is. So if you're on this side and he can't see you, you can sneak up to it and do like a heavy charge attack. And they can be staggered, so that'll keep them still. Alright, so that got us a somber smithing stone 1. And I don't think there's anything else down here. There's a turtle, but no other items of note. So a couple of herba. Alright, and let's come back up here and work our way back around the ruins. Another mushroom here. Now here we are back around the front. If you happen to come here at night or in the evening, you will see that there are some blue jellyfish glowing around the outside. Sometimes those are in place to kind of show like hidden paths and other places that you should explore. So we'll definitely come across some of those later in the game. So let's come back over here and speak with Bach now that we have found his sewing needle. We'll turn on our, or take out our torch.
Oh, what are you doing here? You must leave this place at once. They'll rush in and beat you to a pulp. Oh, you'll end up just like me.
Okay, so we already heard him say that, but now we can give him his sewing needle.
Wait, is that what I think it is? You got it back for me. My sewing needle. What made you go and do a thing like that? My mum was a seamstress, and that sewing kit was all I had to remember her by. I always wanted to be just like sweet old mum. Then I suppose I can't just curl up and die, can I?
No, you can't, Bach. Don't just curl up and die. Don't give up.
Thank you. You're very kind. I always wanted to be a seamster like my mum. Then I suppose I can't just curl up and die, can I?
Alright, so now we know a little bit more about Bach. So he wanted to be a seamster, just like his mom. He has the sewing needle, so maybe at some point he can help us with sewing. So altering our garments, we are able to do that now with the tailoring kit that we picked up. So this isn't necessarily going to be Bach helping us. That will come later. But for now, the only item we have in our inventory that we can alter is the astrologer robe. So you can see that there is a bit of a difference. So in this case, it's like that cream colored vest and hood. So those are basically removed. You pay 500 runes for that. And if we scroll down to it, or if we select A to do the switch, you can see that it lowers the weight, which makes sense, but it also decreases all of those defensive values. So again, there's really not much purpose to doing it unless you're trying to make your character look a certain way with their armor. So that is that. And now I am going to go to Ashes of War. We're going to do the Uchigatana. I know I said I wasn't going to do this, but if we do, we can still keep the blood on it. But yeah, let's go ahead and try this one. So if we switch it over to Sacred, you can see that it's going to lower our amount of damage physical, but it's going to increase the amount of holy damage that we do in addition to the physical. So overall, I think it's probably a good idea to switch it to Sacred rather than Standard, but I don't know. I don't know if it really makes that big of a difference, because if we do go up against anything that's strong against holy or sacred damage, then that damage will be negated. So we can just leave it as standard, but now we have the ability to use the Ash of War, let's see here, Sacred Blade. So instead of holding the button down for doing the unsheath, it will now send out a kind of a blade looking projection or projectile from the weapon, and you can see that our sword is now imbued with holy damage. So let's come over here and we'll lock on to these guys and we'll do a Sacred Blade. So that's a little bit better. You can see the projectile flying at him. So 254 damage is how much we did. If you switch your weapon... Oh wow, that was interesting. Oh, it looked like it had holy damage on it. But if you switch your weapon, it'll take that off. So we did 254 as opposed to 183 with one hit. So the holy damage does definitely help. But yeah, I thought it'd be kind of fun to try out a different Ash of War. So the next thing that we're going to be doing is heading back up to probably here, where my White Mask Vare is, and then we're going to start working our way around the south portion of Ag Hill Lake. So in the next episode, my plan is to clear out these ruins here, come down and talk to an NPC. We'll do a few things over here on this cliff edge, and then come down to this beach. So that should be about one episode worth. We have more time, then we'll maybe start clearing out a portion of the inside of the lake. But as a reminder, I think this island right here is where that bonfire was. Be very cautious about going in there, because there is a world event that happens that we will do at some point in time, but right now it's still fairly dangerous. So let's go ahead and travel up here, and then that's where we will end the episode. And on my practice, I did go back over here and talk to Vare, and he doesn't have anything new to say as of yet. You can see that the Golden Knight is still there. He is called a tree sentinel. Yeah, tree sentinel. And we are going to be fighting him eventually as well. That's a fun fight. I can't wait for it. So for now, we are going to end the episode. So thank you very much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.